the man to zone or vice versa, to do so after timeouts, after free throws, anytime the clock is stopped, or perhaps after a basket has taken place. As coaches, even when we talk to one another, we discuss almost exclusively offensive play and defensive play. Yet there's a third phase to basketball that, in my opinion, is more important than either one. And it's something that you've really got to pay attention to as you're watching the game. I call it conversion, going from offense to defense or defense to offense. Many people refer to it as transition. The offensive break, the defensive break. There are just two thoughts to keep in mind as you're watching a basketball game. Does the offensive team get to its end of the court, maintain possession of the basketball, and then get good shots? Or does it lose possession and throw it away? Secondly, on defense, does the team converting to defense have the ability to prevent the offense from getting easy shots, from getting quick scoring opportunities? If so, then it's gotten a good start on the road toward playing defensively well that possession. We're again going to take it from the beginning in this possession with full court pressure, and you're going to see the offense not do a good job of converting while the defense is very alert to the ball and now comes up with an excellent chance to convert back in the other way. Nothing's better than scoring and getting the ball right back for an attempt at conversion and score again, and perhaps in a few seconds come up with 4 points instead of 2. There we had an excellent example of the man coming up with a steal, looking down court and getting the ball in play. Here, we're going to have the ball rebounded and dribbled all the way down with a good shooter coming into position to take an open shot. Here, the defense had good pressure, but failed to convert in a 3-on-1, and the offense alertly got the ball back, took it down the floor, looking down court, and scored with the conversion. There are a lot of ways to go about setting up the fast break. And as you're watching conversion take place to the offensive end of the floor, the most important thing for you to be aware of is spacing. The rebound is taken right here. An outlet pass is made. Now, once that outlet pass is made, the offensive team must get to the other end as quickly as possible, filling the entire floor, not filling just that portion of the court in the middle of the floor. I like to have the man who receives the outlet dribble to the middle. The first man who can do so follows to the outside. The second man fills the other outside lane, so that when we come down to the other end of the court, these three people are going to be set up something like this. The fourth player down the floor should come opposite the basketball, and the fifth player is coming down the court for defensive balance if the shot is taken quickly, or to go into the middle, fill the post area, and now the offense can be started. Look for spacing in the offensive break rather than everyone being in the middle of the court. The break is the result of good defensive play and a good blockout, as we see by number 30 here. The basket results from 30 being very alert, looking down the court with a good outlet pass. Here we have an excellent blockout, followed by a very good outlet pass, but a poor move on the part of the man going to the bucket. He should have pulled up and taken the shot rather than put himself in a position to commit the charge. Here, defensive help creates a situation where the man getting the ball takes it the length of the court on the dribble and ends up with a good pass. Now we're going to look at a good defensive rebound, outlet pass, excellent ball handling by the middleman. He looks to his right and comes back to his left, providing his team with an excellent opportunity to score. We have pretty good pressure from the defense on the passing lane. And that's a result of that good defensive pressure on the passing lane. As you're watching a basketball game, One of the most exciting plays is the offensive fast break. Maybe it results in a great move to the basket, an outstanding pass, a dunk shot, something that is really going to appeal to the crowd. Is that a result of good offensive play, or has the defense allowed it to happen? You can tell by watching the defense. If the defense comes down the floor, strung out in the middle of the court, the offense is going to have great scoring opportunities. If the defense allows the offense to come down the floor with an offensive numerical superiority, the same thing is going to happen. But if the defense, when turning the ball over through a made field goal or a missed field goal or an interception, if the defense can come down the floor quickly in good spacing and cover the entire defensive end of the floor, then they'll make it tough for a quick shot or an easy score. In these first two possessions, watch how slowly the defensive team gets back down the court. Here the offensive team outnumbered the defense 3-1, and the same thing will be true here. Watch the defensive people just going at a very comfortable pace, not moving down the floor to stop anything. Although there wasn't a basket on the break, the defense getting back slowly and comfortably allowed the blue team to post on that last possession. Here we have poor defensive rotation at the end of the conversion. Now the defense at the end of conversion, although again it isn't the break, still fails to cover the good shooter. All right, there's good block out in the outlet. But look at the defense hustle back to a position where the conversion results in a charge and an offensive turnover. As your favorite team is playing against a zone defense, try to determine how effective your team's offense is by how well it moves both players and the basketball. Anytime the offensive team can bring the ball into a gap in the zone and bring two of the defensive players to the basketball, they have created offensively a mismatch somewhere else. We now have three defensive players to play four offensive players. And we've got to take advantage of that by movement. Perhaps we bring a player up, we slide him in. There are a lot of things that we can do to take advantage of two people coming to the basketball. The two things that I think do the most damage to the zone defense are the use of the dribble, penetration, and player movement. Here we're going to see examples of dribble penetration into the zone, good passing that results in a good shot. Again, we'll see the offense set up, and then the ball will be taken into the zone with the use of the dribble. Defensive man slides to the ball while the offensive man moves away from the defense into an open area. Movement plus good dribble penetration. Dribble into the gap of the zone, bring two people to the ball. Then the shot. Watch your team work the zone, not just pass the ball against it. If you're watching a team attack a zone defense simply by passing the ball from one player to another on the perimeter of the zone, you're seeing a team that's going to have a very difficult time penetrating the zone or putting the zone in a position where it will give up inside scoring opportunities. A zone defense is designed to handle passing. The zone has specific slides to make depending upon the location of the basketball. The offense against the zone must distort those slides. The dribble is the best way for distorting a slide. Drive the ball into the gap of the zone, bring two people to the ball, and now we've made it difficult for the zone to slide as it wants to slide. We're going to see a couple of good possessions here, including that one, where the dribble and the pass are used very effectively against the zone. There's a dribble, screen and a pass, little fake, and the ball goes inside against the zone. When you're watching your favorite team play, see what all it does against the zone. It's got the pass fake, it's got the dribble, players have to move, and there have to be sharp, crisp passes made. How quickly does a team take the shot? Either against man-to-man defense or against the zone. Here, in our setup against the zone, it would be my thinking that to be effective on offense, the ball must be passed at least 4 times. By passing the ball 4 times, or a minimum of 4 times, unless you can get a layup, you're going to make the defense play. You're going to expose the defense to a lot of situations. 1 or 2 passes does not test the defense at all. If you're seeing a team not getting good shots, perhaps you're watching a team that doesn't exert much patience on the offensive end. Patience probably results in more good shots than anything else in basketball. And a lack of patience probably brings about more poor shots. Here we're going to see a couple of possessions where patience is very good, the ball is passed, players move and screen and work to get the best shot possible. The result is a very good inside post shot. Here as the ball comes into play again, there will be both good player movement and ball movement against the man-to-man defense. Good faking, 4 passes, and a 3-point play. Here we're going to see a poor attempt to get the ball inside, not much patience at all, and the same thing here with a very quick shot from the perimeter. Watch for your team to either have patience or not have it. It could determine the outcome of the game. The very nature of man-to-man defensive pickup indicates that, hey, we're going to go out after the offense. We're going to try and force the offense into making mistakes. Where the zone protects the 20 to 22-foot perimeter around the basket, the man-to-man can go out anywhere on the court. Usually, when you're watching a basketball game, a team that is exerting good man-to-man pressure will probably be quicker than the offensive team, trying to take advantage of that quickness by moving out away from the basket. Offensive play now becomes a situation where we've got to advance the basketball, we've got to move the ball into a scoring position through a lot of screening and interchanging of positions. If you're watching a team stand still without much movement against man-to-man defense, you're watching a team that's not going to get many good scoring opportunities. Here we're going to see defensive pickup followed by good movement, not a quick conversion to offense, but a very patient one with good ball movement and good man movement against the zone, resulting in a very good shot. Now, the movement will be against man-to-man defense. You can see that the defense is exerting very good pressure. The offense has got to handle the ball well. It maintains good spacing and gets a good shot. Good spacing again here. In teaching the game of basketball, we use a word with our players, discipline. You've got to be a disciplined player on the offensive end, taking good shots. On the defensive end, you've got to be disciplined, knowing where the basketball is. Hey, as a fan watching a game, you've got to be disciplined, because if you are, you're going to see one of the most interesting and intriguing, perhaps the most interesting part of basketball, and that's the game played away from the basketball. Here's the basketball. Here's the most likely recipient of the ball. Learn to watch what's going on away from the basketball. If you do, you're liable to see a screen being set, a cut made along the baseline, and a pass for a wide open layup. Don't get consumed with the basketball as a fan. Learn to direct your attention to the area of the court away from the ball, because that's where the most interesting play develops. Don't watch the basketball now. Watch the top of the screen to see what happens before the shot. Here we'll see it again. Good screen, a pass, and the shot away from the ball. Just as it's necessary to focus your attention on the offense away from the ball, so too, if you're going to watch the entire game unfold, must you pay attention to the defense away from the basketball. See whether or not the defense is moving toward the basketball. The ball's located right here. The defense is coming toward the ball. I've always felt that 5 defensive players must always be playing against the ball rather than playing out on the court with their respective men away from the basketball. Now, we're very susceptible to a drive that's made without anybody being able to come over and take away that drive. Watching defense away from the basketball is every bit as important to your understanding the play as watching the offense away from the basketball. In these sequences, let's try and look at what the defense does or doesn't do away from the basketball. It's got to keep track of both the ball and the man. There, attention was on the ball. The man slipped away for the shot. This is a very, very difficult thing for the defense to do. You're going to see 3 or 4 possessions here where good shots result from the defense getting hung up away from the ball, as is the case with that screen and the basket. Here we're going to see a good double screen that's not really taken advantage of, but yet the screener moves out, and now there's an excellent chance to score in the post. Movement away from the ball defensively, alertness to the ball, is going to determine whether good shots are had or not. When you're watching your team run through its offense, look for good spacing. So many times, a team winds up with 4 or 5 players on half the court, either against man-to-man or zone. The floor is 50 feet wide, and the effective operational area from baseline out to where you have to be guarded is about 24 or 25 feet. It's important that the offensive team be able to use all of this, not just a small part of it. Spacing enables an offense to get good shots and make good cuts. Having things jammed up is entirely to the advantage of the defense. We're going to start out with an example of good spacing, a good spread of the offensive players against the zone, resulting in a good shot. Ball movement, excellent spacing, and there's the shot. Now we go to very good man-to-man pressure, still using the width of the floor, working from one side to the other, looking to get good spacing, good screening, and the shot results from that spacing. Now we're going to see things get jammed up too much around the lane. The team you're watching would have a tendency, in all probability, as do most teams, to run its offense in a very narrow fashion. I call that running it too tightly, or jamming the offense up against the baseline. We made both mistakes in that possession. Here again, we're too tight, and you can see all 5 offensive players gravitating toward one side of the floor. Pretty good spacing at the tail end of the break for a good shooter. Now we'll take a look at good spacing against the zone again. And one more look at good spacing against man-to-man. One of the basic, perhaps the most basic and fundamental part of all of offensive basketball is the dribble. When we started playing, the first thing we probably did was learn to bounce the basketball. The dribble can be a very, very effective weapon, yet it's oftentimes used to an extent way beyond that which is called for. When you're watching a game, if one player dominates the ball, moving it on the dribble, chances are you're going to have 4 players standing around in other parts of the court. Then we've really reduced the offensive balance and the offensive movement that we have because one player dominates the ball. Now we're going to see how the dribble can be misused. Putting on the floor too much, 4 people standing around, and a poor shot resulting off the dribble. Then, a careless use of the dribble right in front of the defensive man can result in a turnover. You don't want your team putting the ball on the floor an awful lot. Too much dribbling in one place. One guy controlling the basketball. The defense should have come up with it there. Now we're going to see a couple of examples of the dribble being overly used, resulting in less than good shots being taken. The dribble can be used with great effectiveness also, taking the ball into a position that affords a better passing angle, receiving the basketball in a position on the court where you are set to make a drive to the basket, facing the bucket, going with the basketball. Against the zone defense, utilizing the dribble to get into the gap of the zone, providing scoring opportunities elsewhere. Using the dribble to take the ball down the court against full court pressure. There are a lot of very positive uses for the dribble, but none of them include bouncing the ball too much. Here we're going to see the dribble being used to change sides of the court, bring the ball back to make a good pass, and watch how we improve the passing angle right there with the use of the dribble for the good shot. Now we get the dribble to start the break, and we look down the floor to complete the play. Dribble penetration can be used effectively to hit the open man. Penetrate, drop off, good shot. Now we're going to see the dribble put to good use in bringing the ball up the floor against tough man-to-man pressure. Yet the dribble is used too long. Faking with or without the basketball is one of the most important things that an offensive player can do, and one of the toughest things that a defensive player has to play against. Let's look at a pass fake, first of all. Offensive player breaks into the foul line area against the zone. Man with the ball on top makes a hard pass fake into the middle. The defensive man reacts to that fake, and the offensive man can now make the pass to the man here on the wing who probably has a pretty good shot opportunity. Without the pass fake, this opportunity would not have developed. Now we're going to look at the pass fake against the zone. Just a little movement of the ball up to the side, keeps the zone in place, gives us a chance perhaps, as is the case right there, of getting a pretty good open shot. Now against a half-court trapping defense. Little fake, then deliver the ball. Same thing there. Now the offense goes into play. Little fake coming back here, and then an open shot. The zone is held and moved just enough to get the good shot. Now we're going to see some pretty good cuts. Start up, little pass fake, and then a really good shot with a movement fake. accompanied by a pass fake. Another aspect of the fake is the fake in the drive. Little fake, move the defensive man, and a good opportunity taking the ball to the basket. A team that moves and cuts and shoots without the use of the fake is not taking advantage of one of the really great weapons that an offensive team has. We'll wind up our possessions on faking here with an excellent look at the shot fake and how it enables us to get a good shot there with the pass, and here off the dribble. Footwork is extremely important in good play, both at the offensive and the defensive ends of the court. Offensively, setting up the cut, the fake, the foot fake, as opposed to the ball fake. A screen is being set on the offensive man here in the corner. If that offensive man simply chooses to come off the screen, he will not be very difficult to play against. If, however, this offensive man starts in one direction and forces the defensive man with him and then comes back in the other direction, he's going to be able to utilize that screen and perhaps get in a position to take an excellent shot. A lot of times offensive players have a tendency to stand. Here we see players working to move, utilizing the double screen there. The pass isn't made, but then cutting into the middle off the double screen results in a very good shot. Here we'll see good movement to get open. Won't result in much on this possession, though. Something that you all see in practically every basketball game you watch is some version of the full court press. It can be either man-to-man or zone or a combination of the two. What should you look for in full court pressure to determine whether it's effective or it isn't? First of all, keep in mind that this is a big area to cover, 50 feet by 94 feet. If the offensive team is able to get the ball into the middle of the press, which is what it wants to do, it's then going to be able to bring the defense to the middle of the court and throw the ball back out and attack the basket. If the defense, however, can keep the ball in a position where it's tough to penetrate the middle, where they get it constantly into corners of the court, where they can set double teams or traps, then the pressure defense, the full court pressure defense, can work to the advantage of the defense rather than the disadvantage. We're going to take a look at the press being good to the defense, first of all, and then we'll see how the press can actually hurt the defense. Here the red team is alert, getting the ball out of the press situation, coming up with an excellent chance to score. Now, the thing that you just have to avoid in full court pickup is the foul. There's a score on the offensive end and an excellent move with the press to come up with the ball again. Patience, movement will result here in 4 quick points for the offense. Coming through, good application of the press. Here's a pickup after a free throw, trying to deny the ball without playing the man out of bounds. Now the offense uses the dribble and pretty good patience here to get the ball down the floor and then maintains that patience to have a good opportunity to score. The offense cannot allow the press to make it hurry and cause mistakes through lack of patience. Here the offense comes down quickly and has a chance to score. One of the positive